You ever wake up and feel like you're living the same day over and over again? Same thoughts, same excuses, same results, and deep down, you know something's off. Not broken, just stuck. Here's the truth nobody tells you loud enough. You are not 10 steps away from a different life. You're one habit away, not luck, not talent, not some perfect opportunity knocking at your door. One habit, done consistently, can redraw the entire map of your life. Let me show you how. You keep waiting to feel ready. That's the trap. That's the quiet lie that keeps people parked in the same place year after year. Because feelings, they change. They rise, they fall, they disappear when things get hard. Discipline? Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It shows up anyway. You don't build a new life on moods. You build it on decisions. There will be mornings when the alarm goes off and everything in you says, not today. That voice will sound reasonable. It will sound convincing. But understand this, every time you listen to that voice, you're reinforcing the same life you say you want to escape. Discipline is the moment you hear that voice and move anyway. Not because it's easy, not because you're inspired, but because you made a promise to yourself and your word means something. And here's where people get it twisted. They think change has to be loud, dramatic, overnight. They want fireworks. They want a breakthrough moment where everything flips in an instant. But real change, it's quiet. It's the decision to get up 30 minutes earlier when nobody's clapping for you. It's turning off the distractions when nobody would blame you for keeping them on. It's doing the small, uncomfortable thing when comfort is right there within reach. That's where the shift begins. There's research out of University College London that says it takes around 66 days to build a habit. 66 days of showing up, not perfectly, not flawlessly, but consistently. That means transformation isn't a switch you flip. It's a rhythm you commit to. Let that sink in, because most people quit on day 10 or day 20, right when it starts to matter. Picture this. A man decides he's going to walk for just 10 minutes a day. No big announcement, no pressure, just 10 minutes. Some days he doesn't feel like it. Some days it feels pointless, but he does it anyway. Day after day, after a year, that's more than 60 hours of movement his body never had before. His energy starts to shift, his mindset begins to clear. Maybe he starts eating a little better, sleeping a little deeper, thinking a little sharper. That's not coincidence, that's momentum. That's what small habits do. They don't just change what you do, they start changing who you are. And once that identity starts shifting, everything else follows, but it all begins with discipline. Not motivation, not inspiration, discipline. Because the truth is, you won't always feel strong, you won't always feel focused, but you can always choose to be consistent. You don't need to overhaul your entire life in one day. That's overwhelming, that's unrealistic. What you need is one action, repeated with intention, and again. And again, that's where power lives, not in the big promises, not in the perfect plan, in the quiet daily decision to show up, even when you don't feel like it. You keep checking your feelings like they're a compass, like they're supposed to guide you somewhere meaningful. But feelings don't lead you, do. Feelings are weather. They change without warning. One day you're motivated, the next day you're drained, distracted, doubting everything you said you wanted. If you build your life on that, you'll never stay standing long enough to see it change. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't negotiate. It doesn't care if you're tired, if you're comfortable, if it's convenient. It asks one question: did you say you were going to do it? If the answer is yes, then you move. That's it. No debate. There are going to be days when everything in you resists growth. Days when your mind starts making deals. I'll start tomorrow. I deserve a break. Just this once won't matter. But every time you listen to that voice, you're casting a vote for staying the same. And every time you act in spite of it, you're building something stronger than motivation, self-respect. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what you say you want. It's about what you prove through your actions. Most people get stuck because they're chasing outcomes. They're focused on the finish line, not the footsteps. I want more money, I want to be in shape, I want success. Those are results, and results are delayed, they take time. So when they don't show up fast enough, people quit. But outcomes don't define you, your habits do. Every action you repeat is a signal, a message, a vote for the person you're becoming. You read one page, you're building the identity of someone who learns. You train for 20 minutes, you're building discipline, whether you see it or not. You keep your word on the small things, you're becoming someone people can trust. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. Quiet, repeated, intentional behavior. There was a young woman No spotlight, no special advantage, working 2 jobs just to survive. Every night she came home exhausted, the kind of tired that makes everything else feel impossible. She could chosen rest, distraction, escape. Nobody would questioned it, but she made one decision. 10 pages a night, not a full chapter, not hours of study, just 10 pages before she slept. At first, it didn't look like anything. No instant results, no dramatic shift. Just a tired woman turning pages while the world slept. But she kept going. Night after night, week after week, those 10 pages turned into dozens of books. Those books turned into knowledge. That knowledge started to change how she spoke, how she thought, how she saw herself. Confidence crept in where doubt used to live. And one day, an opportunity showed up she wouldn't have been ready for before. But now, she stepped into it like she belonged there, because she did. She didn't just gain information. She transformed her identity. That's how this works. You don't wake up one day and become successful. You become the kind of person who earns it through habits nobody applauds. And once that identity changes, your life can't stay the same. It has to catch up. You keep waiting for the fire, that surge of energy, that moment where everything inside you says, now, this is it. And when it shows up, you feel unstoppable. You make plans, big ones. You talk different, walk different, think you finally cracked the code, but then it fades. Because feelings don't last. They were never built to. Discipline is what stays when the fire dies down. Discipline is quiet, controlled, steady. It doesn't need excitement to move. It moves because it has a direction. And the truth is, if you can't act without feeling good, you'll never last long enough to become great. We love intensity. Let's be honest, we're drawn to it. The speeches, the adrenaline, the moment where you decide to go all in. It feels powerful. Feels like transformation is happening right there on the spot. But intensity is a spark. And sparks, they fade fast. Consistency, that's a slow burn. That's what builds something that lasts. It's not about what you do on your best day, when everything lines up and motivation is on your side. It's about what you do on your worst day, when nothing feels right and quitting seems reasonable. That's the real test, because anybody can show up when they feel strong. Anybody can push when they're inspired. But showing up when you're tired, when you're doubting, when nobody's watching and nothing seems to be changing, that's where the shift happens. There's a reason elite athletes train every single day, even when their bodies are sore and their minds are exhausted. It's not because they're built different. It's because they understand something most people refuse to accept. Success is repetitive. It's not glamorous. It's not exciting every day. It's doing the same right thing over and over again until it becomes automatic, until it becomes part of who you are. You wake up, you do the work. You don't feel like it, you do the work. You don't see results, you still do the work. Again and again and again. And here's the part that breaks most people. You don't see the reward right away. You put in effort, nothing changes. You try again, still nothing. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and it feels like you're stuck in place. That's where people quit. That invisible stretch where progress is happening beneath the surface, but there's no proof yet. But something is happening. Your mind is adjusting. Your discipline is strengthening. Your identity is shifting piece by piece. Then one day, no warning, no announcement, it clicks. That run feels easier. That work feels sharper. That confidence shows up without being forced. And suddenly, everything that once felt impossible starts to feel natural. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's consistency catching up with you. See, the world celebrates intensity because it's easy to notice. But consistency, that's quiet. It builds behind the scenes. No applause, no recognition, just progress stacking on progress. And when it finally shows itself, it looks like overnight success. But you know better. You know it was built in the days nobody saw, in the moments you didn't feel like continuing but did it anyway. That's discipline. That's consistency. That's power. So here's the question. What's the one habit you've been avoiding? Not 10, not 5, just one, because that one habit, it's not small, it's a seed. And if you plant it, protect it, and show up for it every single day, it will grow into a life you don't even recognize. A stronger you, a sharper mind, a life with direction, purpose, and power. You're not stuck. You're just one decision away from momentum, one habit away from transformation. And that choice, it's yours right now.